Have you been struggling to use a rotary cutter to get accurate pieces for quilting? Are you just intrigued by the die cutting systems that are on the market? I was recently given the Accuquilt GO cutter as part of my Island Batik Ambassador program, and I am in love. I want to share with you an overview of the Accuquilt GO and all the wonderful features that it offers, give you some suggestions for getting started. I'm Andy, and this is True Blue Quilts, a place to enjoy, experiment, and excel as you quilt. Today we're exploring the Accuquilt GO. The GO cutter is this turntable system with die cuts. So the dies are just these little trays that go through the system and cut your fabric. So the main part of the system is what I'm calling the rollers, and the GO system is fairly compact. It's about 12 to 15 inches high. It is a little bit heavy, maybe 10 pounds or so, but you find a space so that this can lay flat. And there really is no other setup other than opening it up. It has a crank handle on one side that the dies will go through. And there's several different sizes. I've just got one of the small ones here. But you push that up against the rollers, and then it rolls through the system with very little effort. So the pieces that you need with the Accuquilt GO are one of the dies. And I've just got the die here for half square triangles. They also come with these plastic mats. So you will layer your fabric on top of the die and then put this mat in place. And as the rollers press the mat against the fabric, against the die, the blades that are embedded in that foam cut the fabric piece that you need. One tip that I have for these mats, they tell you to rotate them and use both sides. So I took a Sharpie and put my initials, but you can put a dot or a star or some little mark on one side of the die, and that way you know which one you've used, because they've printed their logo on both sides. So it's kind of hard to tell right side up. And that way I know if I've got my marking up, then the next time through I turn that over and run it through the other way. So looking at the dies, the shape that you're cutting is in a darker foam, so you know exactly how to line up your fabric on these dies. They are engineered so well to help you make accurate cuts and get fabulous results. So anyone that's starting to have shoulder problems, that you don't have enough strength to use the rotary cutter over and over, carpal tunnel syndrome kicks in, you have trouble with those long cuts and the ruler wobbling, getting yourself set up with an Accuquilt system is going to solve so many problems. I was hesitant at first because I'm a younger quilter. I haven't hit a lot of those physical limitations. I said, I can cut all the shapes and sizes I need with my ruler and rotary cutter, but saving time, that's something we can all do, because I would much rather be sitting at my machine sewing the pieces than spending hours cutting them out. And being able to just run these dies back and forth and get all the strips and smaller pieces I need is fabulous. Let's take a look at some of the dies that Accuquilt offers. The Accuquilt GO system that I was given came with the 2.5 inch die strip, which would have been my number one purchase. I design and quilt with 2.5 inch strips almost exclusively. There will be a 2.5-inch strip in most of my quilt patterns, you can rest assured. So this was a wonderful basic to be included with the Go system. I also got the cube for 8-inch blocks. Now, cubes are a great package deal, a bundle of Accuquilt dies. So they're packaged in a cube. Great marketing tactic. So it tells you the block size. So all the dies in this cube will fit together to make 8-inch blocks. So you could quilt for years just with one cube. And Accuquilt does make additional sizes. So I will link to Accuquilt's website and you can check those out. Just find the link in the description below. The packaging shows you all the dies that are included in each set. There's some background information there on the packaging, and they also give you a diagram of all the different blocks you can make. So when I said you could be busy for years, I meant it. There are over 72 blocks that you can make just from this cube set. So when you take that off, patterns included with every die that you get, so save those packages. You don't have to throw those right in the trash. And then this is set up with these little folders here right in this cube. So let's take a look at this first one. It's our getting started. It has a DVD. I took the mat out already. That fits right there. And then it has another little booklet of patterns and tips. So that slides right back in there, so you're not having too much clutter build up in your sewing space, nice and contained. So we'll take this next folder out, and this has some of our dies, and each one is labeled which pocket it goes into, and they each have a pattern block or pattern pamphlet there. So I've already showed you the half square triangle that would fit right in there. So you've got 4 different dies in that folder, and you pull out the other set and it has another 4 dies with their pattern cards as well. So you are all set, and you know that these pieces all fit together because they came in the same cube. Is the Accuquilt cube. Let me show you how easy it is to make these half square triangles. I used the strip cutter to cut my 2.5-inch strip, and you can use oversized fabric, but I have found it just as easy to layer my 2.5-inch strip right on those blade lines, and maybe my blades will get dull faster because I'm not cutting through fabric every time, but I like the convenience of taking my 2.5-inch strip and going straight to the die. Now, to cut multiple layers, you can cut up to 6 layers with the Accuquilt GO, and I have done 6 layers. So I'm keeping a little bit extra on one side of my die, and I'm looking over here to where the other end of my die is, just so that I can minimize the waste here. So I've made sure that my fabric goes over both ends of the die, and then I'm just fan folding that back and forth, and I don't quite have enough to get another half square triangle out of that end, but that is just fine. So once you've got your fabric in place, you lay the mat on top, and that just holds everything in place. I'm going to position it right next to the roller and just start cranking the handle And a few turns later, and I pick up my mat, and I have, it gets stuck a little bit in that corner. I have my perfect half square triangle units ready to sew into blocks. Stay tuned. I am finishing up my next quilt using pieces that were all cut with the Accuquilt GO, and I can't wait to share that with you. In the meantime, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video, so click the link to watch that next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.